Hey guys, welcome back to Resistance Chicks. We're your hosts, Leah and Michelle, where the stock market gets cold for some billionaires, but gets hot for the little guy. And we think that silver is headed that way.
North.
You guys
That's why Michelle has her hat on.
Yes. No, I actually just had this on. We were shoveling snow, and I was sitting down here, and I was like, I'm going to wear this hat for this show. I don't know why. It just feels fitting. And it's very soft and squishy.
All right. I've been getting some messages today from just friends, calls, everybody. People want to know what's going on. I have immersed myself in trying to understand what is happening with these with the stock market, and it's just a handful of stocks. And I'm going to try to explain it to you guys right off the bat, and you're going to understand this.
Yes.
Okay? I'm going to explain this in a way that you can explain it to your kid.
We're going to keep it simple, stupid.
So, first off, I don't want anybody to have money in the stock market. Let me just say that. I'm going to explain the system. I'm going to explain what happened
need to get out.
This week and in the past couple of days is good.
Right.
But if you want out, if you want to be stable, you have your stuff out of the stock market.
Right.
That being said, what this GameStop Robinhood thing did, I'm going to explain what it is all about. Pulled a scab off so that the rest of the world can begin to see just how manipulated the system is, to the point that you can't win if you try.
Wow.
Okay? The stock market is made for the billionaires, for the elites, and you're their product. Okay? You are not on their side. All right? Unless you're coming in with millions and billions, you're the product.
Right.
They're buying and selling you. All right. So we know that the economy has been tanking for a little while, and certain businesses are kind of going low. And there is there's something that hedge funds do. Now, hedge funds are firms that help customers invest money. Okay? And they invest for their customers. And they do day tradings, and they do the longs, the shorts and the longs. Okay, so these short trades that they have been doing, they'll short a stock. So I didn't know you could do this, but this is what they do. They see a system, or they see a company that looks like it's not going to be doing very well, like GameStop.
Like it's going to start
so GameStop
going down. The stocks
is a brick and mortar video game store. Now, video games are online. So this is a store that if you wanted to short a stock, this would be where you could actually make money on someone else's demise.
It's awful.
All right?
It's actually awful.
So what they do, and it should be illegal. So what these hedge funds do is they borrow. And I didn't even know you could do this. Okay? They borrow stock. GameStop. This is what they do. They borrowed AMC, Nokia, BlackBerry when they're shorting stocks, but mostly they were going after GameStop. And some people on Reddit found out that they were shorting GameStop. Well, maybe it's because it had some sentimental reasons. But they were like, you know what? I think what you're doing to GameStop is wrong.
Like we could use these as an example. I have here 5 silver dollars. Okay? Let me see if I can get these close enough you can see them. All right? Let's pretend, and you have to pretend real hard, but let's pretend these are GameStop stocks. All right? They're mine. I own them. So Leah says, Michelle, can I borrow your stocks? Okay, Leah, but you're just borrowing them. I'm going to need them back.
Yeah. Okay. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to
sell them. So now what do you do with the stocks, Leah?
I'm selling them immediately. And let's say I'm going to sell them for $10 a piece.
Okay.
I want to make money. So I'm hoping that the value of this goes down.
Right.
So that I can buy them back, let's say for $7.
And then you've made
$3, pocket the $3, and then give them back to Michelle.
But you have no choice. They have to come back to Michelle. Regardless of how much you buy them back for, they have to come back to Michelle. Because I'm seeing some comments here. What is the GameStop thing? What happened? So this is a normal process that these hedge funds do for flailing businesses. It's a bet. It's gambling. So if you're in if you're in stocks, you're a gambler. You can deal with God Almighty.
Well, it depends. You can be you are all gambling, but some hedge funds
This is more gambling.
are bullish and some are bearish.
Right.
So some are long term and some are short.
This is bull stuff.
So this is
I didn't mean to say it that way.
right. So this
My own
is
joke.
to borrow a stock
Right.
and then not know where the stock price is going to go is insane. Okay, because it could go up and up and up.
Now, what happened with the GameStop?
Reddit user said, "What I want you guys to do
They got all together.
I want you guys to go and buy GameStop stock." So that stock goes up.
Instead of going down to the $7 that you had banked on.
I borrowed this. I borrowed her car. Okay, let's do a car.
Let's do a car.
I borrowed Michelle's car.
You borrowed my Maserati.
Then I sold it,
borrowed my Maserati,
hoping that I could buy it back cheaper. But then the value of her car went higher and higher. And let's say I sold it for $10,000, hoping to buy it back for $7,000.
This is a Maserati.
Just work with me. It's not a Maserati.
It was a Maserati.
Okay, that's a GameStop stock. Okay, $10,000.
It was a Dodge Neon.
Okay, Dodge Neon. Okay, and then the offers kept going up and up and up, and I had to get it back.
And there were no more Dodge Neons for you to buy.
15,000, 16,000, 17,000, 18,000. And what they did with the GameStop stock is it was like, $4 or $5, $6, $7, $8, $9, $10. And it kept going up and up and up and up. And what happened was...
Did it reach almost $400?
Almost $500.
Almost $500. Oh my gosh.
But what happened was as those investors recognized that they were going to have to get the stock back.
Right.
They had to buy it back higher. So they're having to get, let's say they've got, 10,000, 20,000 shares. They could even have more. Okay?
Shares.
And that is exponential in how much they have to buy it back for.
These
and so
people
the people who let me just finish.
Yeah.
So the little guy who bought in at $5 or $6 or $7 or $8, $9, $10, or even $20, $30, $40, $50, as those hedge fund people are having to buy it back, it creates a cycle. Okay, and the more people are coming, and then last night it exploded. And the Reddit people felt like they had won a war because it had topped $400. And they were ready to come
today as soon as the bell rang at the open of trading.
And they were going to just hammer. And what happened is they had put the large, one of these hedge funds, and I'll get you these names in a second. One of these hedge funds, they had pretty much bankrupt them. It was like $1 billion. And other people, the little guy, they were making money. We shared a little bit about this yesterday.
Right.
Some people pulled out, but everybody else was saying, hold. So what happened this morning and overnight, and this is where it gets really nefarious, is SD Ameritrade, they wouldn't let you trade those stocks yesterday. They just put a stop on it.
I don't know the legality of that, but it's never done.
It's never done.
Ever.
There's a popular day trading app, and it's called Robinhood. Robinhood. And it's supposed to be the company for the little guy. Now, from what I've understood in my research, nothing in life is free. They're like, you can come and do free trades for us. No. With us. They get 40% of their capital from a company called Citadel, which is this retail trader. They're using you. Robinhood is using you as a product.
Uh-oh.
And nothing in life is free. So what Robinhood trading app did is this morning, as everybody was ready to have, they had to hold the price or drive it higher to keep sticking it to the guy. And people were crying, oh, brokerage firm workers, they're losing their jobs. They're going to be out of work and blah, blah, blah.
Right.
Well, they stick it to the little guy all the time.
Exactly.
And they run away happy.
Right.
They suspended the trading. And then what that did is that forced people to sell. And even Robinhood was forcing people to sell. And the only thing you could do on these handful of stocks, I think it's AMC, Nokia, BlackBerry, GameStop, and a couple more.
You could cash out. or hold it.
Exactly.
Which was forcing those that were getting scared and a little bit trigger happy, even though these Reddit, little guys is what we're going to call them so you guys can understand what we're talking about. They were like, hold the line, okay, because we're going to take down the big guy. But when these, like the Robinhood app said, no, you can't sell.
You can't buy.
You can't buy. All you can do is sell. Then people get scared. They're like, well, I don't want to be the last one holding the bag. Mm-hmm. So it's a difficult.
So, but and this is why you don't want to be in the stock market. But this is why the right and left have come together. It's a huge story. It has shaken up Wall Street, and it has to do with Bernie Sanders people who still think that he's against the system. It has to do with Janet Yellen, who is currently our foe, but stand-in Treasury Secretary who made $7 million
on speaking.
Now, like Glenn Greenwald pointed out, you got to be born yesterday if you think that Bill Clinton or Barack Obama or anybody's getting huge speaking fees because they want to hear what you have to say.
Amazing orators and wise beyond all things.
Janet Yellen gets close to $1 million in speaking fees from Citadel. Citadel helps run the cash flow for Robinhood.
Mm-hmm.
And how can she investigate what is now is going to be? Congress is in on Congress. People are suing Robinhood. People should be suing Ameritrade. This is so crazy. So what I want to do is we're going to go over more of this. We're going to see how this is life-changing for you and how it can be life-changing for you. Because the other punchline is this. The Redditors are on to silver. Now, silver has several different ways you can trade silver, okay? There's silver mines, silver futures, and the worst one is this paper silver certificates, which that is what they're trying to do. There's a short. Now, we can put that back to what we just heard with GameStop on the short. There's more paper, more borrowed paper of the silver
than actual silver exists.
So if you put a squeeze and demand the physical silver, then the price of silver goes up. And those who have been keeping it down lose. But those who have, and so Lynette was almost in a place of euphoria. Is this the moment? Because she's been waiting for the stock market to tank, right? She's been waiting for the whole monetary collapse, but they're not ready yet. They're not ready. And she's not convinced that it wasn't some big players playing each other. There's not just little guys on Reddit. Because she said it would take a tremendous amount of capital to make the flip happen. And so she thinks it might be nefarious. She says it's a very huge incestuous relationship because guess what? Between just in the last couple hours, it looked like the hedge funds had won it back and the little guy had been wiped out. But now it's back up. And tomorrow, Robinhood said that they will allow limited trading on these stocks.
So I want to expound on this a little bit, and I don't want the show to become really long, but this is really complex, and I think, and I put in the description that I truly believe that this could be one of the most important episodes of Resistance Chicks that we have ever done. Okay? We have been waiting for other shoes to drop in the movement of God, in the plan for a reset, a God reset. They have been robbing us blind for the past 100 years plus, 107 years since the inception of the Federal Reserve Bank, and then they started, taking our gold and silver from us, etc. So what we want to do tonight is to get you guys excited about what is happening because the veil has now been lifted. This kind of stuff has been going on behind the scenes. And once you hear about it and you actually understand it, they bank on the fact that we don't care enough to look into the details.
2/3 of these millennials who are buying these stocks and want to stick it to the man
voted
for Joe Biden. who put in Janet Yellen, who is their enemy.
Right. I want to show you guys a picture of her real quick. Go ahead, keep talking.
And so what this does is it shows the millennials, they need to know who their enemy is.
Right.
So this is a very good thing for them to know. Joe Biden, he's not your guy. You voted for him.
Right.
Donald Trump was your guy.
And not just that, but Biden is a part of a long list of decades of shysters and scamsters, and I just made that second one up, and fraudulists. That's not a made up word. Patriot Gallery just taught it to me. Okay. These people that have been putting
Fatalists.
up this illusion, this mirage, this hologram of our monetary system. And I have to say, even when Trump gets up there and he says the stock market's doing good, like that's some sort of reflection of the economy, it is not. When the stock market is up, it just means that these traders are getting lots of money from each other. I had a friend who got her, maybe some of you guys, her stimulus came in the form of a preloaded card. Okay, most people got them deposited into their bank. Other people got checks, but they want to stimulate the economy through the spending, because even when the stock market is up, the economy is tanking.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's all happening. It's happening right now. And if you guys have ever considered buying silver, at the end of the show, you are going to decide that today is your day.
So what you have to recognize is that these people, as Dave Poitier, at Barstool Sports, he was in on it, and I'll play a video from him. He says this, a lot of people are giving this a great analogy. You play a football game. You're winning.
Right.
It's 11 and 11 players.
Yes.
You're winning so badly. They've changed the rules you're beating the other team so badly that they changed the rules in the middle of the night, and the other team gets 20 players and you have 11 players.
And what does that sound like? It sounds like November 3rd into November 4th. Now, one question here that I can answer very quickly in the chat that I don't want to forget. Blazer says, is this Trump working behind the scenes? No, this is all God.
No.
This is all God.
Platform. People come together. They talk.
That's Reddit.
And they're targeting the short sellers, the hedge funds. We're going to look at some really, really interesting things today. But, you've got, now I know that this is reversing because this slide is from yesterday, and today is another very different day. However, you can see how the traders at places like Robinhood, those free trades, have pushed up these stocks that are frankly in dire straits and could very well go out of business. We saw the same thing with Hertz. It was going bankrupt, and they thought about issuing new stock because of the traders pushing this up. It's really kind of interesting, though. Now, this could be, there's so many moving parts to this. It could be, as one of the co-founders of Reddit said, that investors are now having their chance to flex back at hedge funds, shifting the power to small investors. So it is certainly possible and probable, and it looks like that we've got a battle of Wall Street going on. Part of what you have to ask yourself is, what part of this battle do you want? What part of this fight do you want? Okay, because you should always, of course, pick your battles. But he said that the GameStop short squeeze. Now, a short, and I need to just slow down for a second. I'm sorry.
She had this moment.
A short is when you sell stock that you do not own with the intention of then going into the market and buying it back at a lower price, and there you have your profit. You sold it at this price. Well, in theory anyway. You sold it at this price, you're buying it at this price, and that's all profit. But there are no limitation to losses. Now, with GameStop in particular, hedge funds had sold 138% of the stock. You might be going, well, how can they do that? It's called leverage, right? So then through Reddit, a group, well, we don't really know who all is behind this, so they want us to think that it's all the little investor. I'm not really so sure of that, but at any rate, came in and started through buying the stock directly and also derivatives of the stock. And remember, we've talked about this quite a bit. It is much cheaper to buy the derivative than it is the actual underlying asset, and that's leverage. So between those two pieces, though, of course, the stock is up this month. Okay, we're not even at the end of the month yet. 2,000%, though I think at the moment it's now down 44%. We'll talk a little bit more about that. Consequently, those hedge funds that had sold all of that stock that they do not own, some were forced to go in and cover their shorts, but that's called a short squeeze. So they target the most vulnerable areas, and GameStop, that's not the only one, but that's one of them, was certainly one of those. So to go in and buy, push that price up. So now you can't sell it at here and buy it back at here. Now you sold it at here, but there's no limitation on losses. So 5 billion year to date. We're only in January. We haven't even finished January. How
5
are
billion
those hedge funds surviving
in 1 month?
Because I haven't really heard yet the blow up and the death of these hedge funds. We're going to look at that in a few minutes. So you definitely want to pay attention to that. I found it really, really interesting.
She's so awesome.
But now, at the moment that I pulled that this morning, Robinhood had restricted trading in GameStop and other names involved in the frenzy. Wait a minute. Robinhood is supposed to be for the little guy, free trading. They turn trading into a game on the computer. We'll talk more about that in a minute too. Republicans in Washington warn Wall Street the GameStop populists are more powerful than you think. I don't know that it's just the little guys though, because this is pretty sophisticated really. And GameStop shares fall halted several times after brokers placed restrictions on trade.
So I'm going to go and stop it there. Then I'm going to kind of go over it. But 5 billion to date, and this is why there was bleeding money. 915 million on Monday, 1.6 billion on Friday, and they just were like, we have to stop. Even though they had put themselves in this position.
Okay, so I know that we have so much to cover.
It's as if everybody knows if you buy a stock, it could go under tomorrow.
Yeah.
And so it was as if, let's say Procter and Gamble, something came out horrible about them, right? They put rat food in all their stuff, right? It was as if these traders went in and said, no, you can't sell that. We can't lose our money. That's what they were saying. By people, it's absolutely hilarious. This isn't the way this stock market should work. By people buying stock, these people lost $5 billion. That shouldn't be the way that a stock market goes. If people buy stocks, everybody should be happy. Everything should be great. But not when you're a cheater.
Not when you are a cheater. And so there's, whoa, are you going to change?
I'm going to change to a white background.
Okay. Well, no, we're already there for the white, actually. I need you guys to not get discouraged if this feels like it's going over your head. By the end of the show, you will understand what is happening here. Okay? The bad guys were bleeding money because they made a bet that didn't pay off.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And so,
yeah,
to stop the bleeding,
right,
they
stopped
insert
the payout.
That's not how it works. When you're the bookie and you're also participating in the bet, you don't get to just stop the game in the middle of it. You made a bad bet. It is not, and they are acting like it is their God-given right for their bets to always benefit them. And when it doesn't, and they insert, and all of a sudden they halt the trading, that is illegal.
Right.
That has to be illegal. I don't know what laws are on the books, but it's like insider trading. Daggum Martha Stewart, the saint of all craftiness and cooking, I'm not saying she's a saint, went to jail over something not nearly as bad as what these people did in the middle of the night, halting the trading. There are lawsuits. These people went on it like white on rice, okay? They are going to get this, right? You need to understand this is a huge thing that is happening. Go ahead, Leah.
All right, so I'm going to go over a few more of these things. Now, where did this all start? It started on Reddit, a lot of people talking, and on one of their subreddits, it was called Wall Street Bets. And Wall Street Bets, where people would just, hey, this is the day trade for this is the day trade for that, and they would go. And so Reddit suspended them. And then they suspended their Discord. Discord is another place to talk on things.
Here's the thing. It is
And they're
not
saying-
illegal to talk about the stocks that you are going to buy and sell.
Right.
That is not illegal. There is no insider trading that is going on amongst the people who are actually winning this.
Well, especially when you can see the short. You can see people, you can see the shorts. You can see that, you can see which companies have shorts. And get this. What they're saying is that it's Trump's fault, and it's populism, and it's white supremacists, racists,
So you know it's
Nazis.
a good thing. Not because of white supremacy and racism, but because they lie about everything.
And it's so funny. It's because half of them are the Bernie bros.
I know.
Who call Trump supporters Nazis.
The Bernie bros aren't going to like this very much, are they?
Right. Okay. So, all right. Barstool Sports, Dave Portnoy. I think he lost like $1 million on this, but then he might be back up. But he was all in on the Robinhood app, and he's been using it. Go
Amy
ahead.
says it's no different than halting the election while they're losing.
That's very similar. So he has been roasting Robinhood on Twitter, and I'm going to get to. I've been watching this since this morning, and so much has changed, so much has happened, and I really can't even play. You guys can go listen to his videos, but he understandably is upset, and he drops so many F-bombs, I can't even play it. Okay. Let's see. Derek says, funny to see Robinhood app promoting finance democracy while blocking people who are exactly exercising finance democracy from buying the GameStop, AMC, and Nokia. All right. So in his letter this morning, Tom Woods called it the GameStop rebellion, observing, if the average American suffers a loss, that's a darn shame. If big players, what?
Matthew says Martha should be outraged.
Yeah.
That was good.
Those poor cows, right? If big players suffer a loss, shut everything down. Mike Swanson at Wall Street Window assembled a truly dizzying set of charts of the issues affected and noted the juxtaposition. These are all epic short squeezes, and the traders on the internet, many of whom are apparently Robinhood traders, are celebrating going wild. But on CNBC and much of the mainstream media, there is outrage and call for regulation as the short squeezes are crushing big money hedge funds short as they short these stocks. They came in, thought they could continue to play the game, and somebody called them on it.
They called their bluff. It's like when you're playing poker and you think it's going to go like another round, and then somebody's like, I love my little chips here. They're like, I'm calling. And you're like, wait, I wasn't ready yet.
So what you don't know is that the Fed has been printing up money to buy bonds from the world's largest companies. And in Lynette's whole video, which go to ITM Trading on YouTube, watch her whole video from today. I was just fascinated. Michelle's like, you could have played that 2 times. I was like, yeah, I could have. But.
You need to watch Lynette every time she does a video.
But she explained, especially in 2019, that at this point that the hedge funds were borrowing money to cover themselves for their shenanigans. Instead of you shouldn't need to cover your bets. It's a bet. It's a bet to cover your bets.
Can we use like the example of a low down gambler that's an alcoholic or something?
Exactly.
And then they go and they just start borrowing all of this money because they can't because they have a gambling problem and they're not good at it either. Right? They're a poor gambler.
Well,
they're addicted. They can't stop. And now they keep borrowing money to cover themselves.
Yeah.
It's wrong.
So the new normal
I don't feel sorry for
means
them.
that big box stores get to stay open while the small and independent businesses are declared non-essential and ordered closed. And then when people on the wrong end of the stick get paid a pittance that amounts to toilet paper and they push it into the stock market, they end up making a killing. What happens? The ref throws in a penalty flag from the sidelines and the rules get changed.
Where's my whistle?
Jim Cramer vehemently calls what is happening manipulation and illegal, going so far as to trot out this could be the work of foreign actors card.
It's always foreign actors when it's. I wish that I could, from now on, if I ever do anything in this house that you don't like, I'm just going to go foreign actor.
I know.
It wasn't me. It was a
Russia.
foreign actor. It was Russia.
But Jim Cramer actually, this is a quote from himself when he routinely manipulated stocks in his hedge fund days. He says, you know, a lot of times when I was short at my hedge fund and I was positioned short, meaning I needed it to open up, I would create a level of activity beforehand that could drive up the futures. It doesn't make much money. Similarly, if I were long and I would want to make things a little bit rosy, I would go in and take a bunch of stocks and make sure that they are higher, you know, maybe commit 5 million in capital to do it. And I could affect it. What you're seeing now is maybe probably is bigger market now, maybe any 10 million capital and knock this stuff down, but it's a fun game. It's a lucrative game. That was what he used to say. When Main Street companies lay off workers, it's the way of the world. But when the stock could be a buy, but when a bunch of bankers and hedge funds blow themselves up because they leveraged on, you know, horse manure derivatives that unceremoniously imploded, as Cramer now legendary meltdown during the GFC illustrates, that's a crime against humanity.
So I'm advertising right here for ITM Trading. I get nothing from them whatsoever, but you guys were asking what channel Lynette was on. I downloaded a transparent thing here, so it's hard for you guys to see it. There it goes. So you guys can check out their YouTube channel, and they have a website. They are actually traders. Okay, you can buy and sell precious metals from them on their website. You can call. They can help you with a financial plan. I mean, they are an amazing. We've had Lynette on our show once or twice before. Once before, and so yeah, she's amazing.
So the system is structured so that Joe Public loses and the bankers win. The establishment wins. Okay, it's literally a gambling house, and the house always wins. And I'm curious to see where this is going to play out. Now, let me see what the latest is, because we had. Okay, so GameStop was down. Now it's up, and this is new. The newest information. So GameStop soars 75% after hours, erases its losses.
Yeah.
After the liquidity-constrained Robinhood lifts the trading ban. So GameStop rallies after hours, erases the day's losses. Robinhood draws down on credit lines with the banks. I'm going to explain that connection there. So in a second. Citadel Securities denies it influenced Robinhood in restricting stock trading in GameStop. Robinhood releases a statement saying stock trading in GameStop restarts tomorrow. That's going to be interesting. Robinhood users complain their GameStop positions are being sold without notice. Elon Musk agreed with Congresswoman AOC for investigation in Robinhood, but she is owned by these hedge fund people. How do you think she got in? Okay. She made this horrible, stupid tweet to Ted Cruz, let's work together on this, Ted Cruz says. And she's like, oh, after you tried to get me killed at the Capitol for incitement of violence.
Oh, for crying out loud.
Remember when she went down to Texas and cried at the fence there? There was nothing beyond the fence. And then that ICE facility got bombed. Did she, get brought up on insurrection or anything?
Yeah, that's a really good
incitement. Point. All right. Let's see. Dave Poitner gets in a Twitter argument with the Citadel Point 72 Steve Cohen. User sues Robinhood, and there's going to be a lot of suits against Robinhood. So there's a lot going on. GameStop shares began to trade higher after Robinhood folded on its earlier trading ban. The move accelerated after hours, and GameStop is now up 75%, having erased all of today's losses. The rally appeared to gain ground as Robinhood CEO appeared on CNBC. In order to protect the firm and protect our customers, we had to limit buying in these stocks. Robinhood is a brokerage firm, and we have lots of financial requirements. We have SEC net capital requirements and clearinghouse deposits. What he's saying, people were not buying more than like a normal day. It was specific to specific stocks. So to say you don't have enough to cover the buying of these stocks is just ridiculous. So that's money that we have to
Unless they are on the inside and there's something fishy going on.
Yeah. So, but Teneva, one of the Robinhood CEO, awkwardly denied that there was any existing liquidity issue at the firm and said Robinhood had tapped credit lines as a proactive measure. We want to put ourselves in a position to allow our customers to be as unrestricted as possible in accordance with the requirements and the regulations. So we pulled those credit lines so that we could maximize within reason the funds we have to deposit at the clearinghouse. This was his awkward body language.
Bring in the CEO of Robinhood. Vlad Atenev is with us right now, and we appreciate you joining us on a day where there are so many questions. And as Melissa just said, there are, frankly, as you know, a lot of angry customers out there and a lot of questions
giving them 1-star
about what
reviews.
took place and the decisions that you made to limit so many of your customers' ability to buy stocks like GameStop. Questions about whether you have a liquidity problem, whether you're trying to protect them from themselves, whether Citadel did this. Explain what happened today.
Thank you for having me on the show again, Andrew. So what happened today was, as you pointed out, we had to make a very difficult decision. It's been a challenging day. We made the decision in the morning to limit the buying of about 13 securities on our platform. So to be clear, customers could still sell those securities if they had positions in them, and they could also trade in the thousands of other securities on our platform. So it was a difficult decision.
Nobody mentioned that Tootsie Roll was on the thing.
And that's what we had
Why
to
is
do
Tootsie
as
Roll
part of
tanking?
normal operations.
But explain then, why did you do this? What, did the SEC call you and tell you you had to do this? Was there a problem inside the company in terms of liquidity, in terms of the amount of deposits that you had to put in front to the exchanges? What led to this?
Sure, and let me explain exactly how this works. First of all, I want to address some of the misinformation that's been out there because there's a lot of it. We absolutely did not do this at the direction of any market maker or hedge fund or anyone we route to or other market participants. The reason we did it was because Robinhood is a brokerage firm. We have lots of financial requirements, including SEC net capital requirements and clearinghouse deposits. So that's money that we have to deposit at various clearinghouses. So some of these requirements fluctuate quite a bit based on volatility in the markets. And they can be substantial in the current environment where there's a lot of volatility and a lot of concentrated activity in these names that have been going viral on social media. So we're really in unprecedented times. And in order to protect the firm and protect our customers, we had to limit buying in these stocks.
In order to protect our company, we had to limit buying of stocks. He said it. He said it out loud.
Another video? 'Cause we're literally
No,
sitting
Dave
it's like the
Portnoy
power went out.
is not buying it. It does look like the power went out. Shortly after Robinhood folded on its earlier decision to block buying of several high-profile stocks, Bloomberg reports the company has drawn down some of its credit lines with banks.
I want to read some comments when you give me a chance.
According to people with knowledge of the matter, Bloomberg reports that the firm has tapped at least several $100 million. Lenders include J.P. Morgan, Chase & Company, Goldman Sachs. So perhaps, the real reason is a sudden liquidity crisis as fees from Citadel evaporates as flows disappeared. And this would make sense because they don't make money off of your trades. And that's why they're showing they're naked.
Yeah.
They're showing that their business model is not, hey, come and trade stocks with us.
Right.
Okay? If it doesn't go well for the big hedge funds and the big bankers, then they don't get the kickback. the way Robinhood makes money, is the way I understand it, is that the flow of the stocks, they get paid on the amount of the stocks. But if those companies are losing money on you buying the stocks, then they're not going to be paying Robinhood if they're losing money by you because they they are being squeezed. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay. So let's see. Liquidity crisis fees from Citadel evaporate as flows disappear. This could be an existential threat to the popular trading app, as one questions the sanity of people who would stay with the firm after today's betrayal. They betrayed these little guys. They were the Robin Hoods. We are winning. They were literally like, tomorrow we go to war, okay? And you're going to bring up your little sheriff of Nottingham. Literally, Robin Hood became the sheriff of Nottingham and stole money back from the little guy.
Have you guys, this is one of my absolute favorite childhood movies, which is Disney's Robin Hood. I don't, it gives me warm fuzzies. I probably want to go and like watch it now. But this is what happens when they're pretending that they're the Robin Hood, but they aren't.
They're not.
They are not actually Robin Hood. They are stealing from you. And so when Leah says that these people feel like they are betrayed, it's because they were supposed to be the little guy. And when it looks like the little guy is starting to win, they halt it. And somebody had put in the chat a little bit ago that the house always wins.
Right.
It's just like if you were gambling and you in Las Vegas, and all of a sudden you start winning legitimately and they come in and they just, boom, you can't gamble here anymore. You're winning too much.
Yeah.
Because they're losing. They shut these people down because they were losing. They changed the rules in the middle of the night. Do I have time for comments or no?
Go ahead.
All right. I know I like to get them when they come because once they're passed, it's like I have a hard time going back and finding them. Because you guys have so much to say on this right now. Let me see. Stuart the Brit says Soros made his money by shorting and collapsing the British economy years ago.
Yes.
Then ran away to America. Nice chap. 412 says the big guys win in failure. The media is cheerleading this. I don't trust it. The Great Reset. Nick says every single knee will bow. Not only will he judge our sins, he will take up the case against those that wronged us. He is a righteous judge. 412 says Robinhood isn't entirely wrong. Buying GME at $300 or $400 equals massive losses. I would disagree.
No, here's the thing.
They aren't allowed to just stop
They're
trading.
just a trading app.
It doesn't matter.
They supposedly are.
Exactly.
If people want to buy a bunch of P&G stock, who's to stop them? The only reason it's hurting people is because it was shorted.
Well, and let me go to this.
If it was not shorted,
exactly,
everybody would be happy. GameStop be happy. Everybody be fine. Nothing problem. It was the short squeeze that is squeezing this hedge fund, and I am all about hedge funds and billionaires being squeezed.
All right, let me go to the hedge fund so that they can because I know that there's a lot to grab a hold of here, guys. All right, so I pulled up. This is a good example of how a hedge fund works. Okay. Hedge funds take both long and short positions, meaning we got these short sales and then we have like long term, we're going to invest in stuff. Hedge funds use arbitrage. Hedge funds include buying and selling of undervalued securities. So when you put your money in a hedge fund, they are going to essentially use their knowledge of the stock market to place bets for you.
Yeah.
That should pay off, right?
Yeah, but here's the thing. They bet on losing companies, and that's where it's scary. Oh, you see a company that's doing well and you want to invest in that.
So
that is a normal investment.
All right. Hedge funds trades options or bonds. This is the part I want you to see in purple. Hedge funds invest in any opportunity. Do you know what an opportunity is? These short sales. Right? Where they are buying or borrowing something that's not theirs, selling it and hoping to buy it back less as it continues to fail. Last one. Hedge funds reduce volatility and risk and preserve capital. They are supposed to be a protection level for you, which is why they're saying, but we have to protect our customers, okay? But it doesn't work that way. If you're making bad bets and you lose money for your customers, that's your fault and your customer's fault. It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
Does that make any sense? I hope it does. Go ahead, Leah.
Okay. All right. 70 billion reasons why retail brokers just betrayed their customers. So yesterday, when TD Ameritrade, I think I said SD Ameritrade, TD Ameritrade became the first exchange to impose unprecedented restrictions on GameStop. Tyler Durden from Zero Hedge, it's a pseudonym, predicted what would happen next. Expect many more exchanges to follow suit because hedge funds clearly need to be protected when faced with retail day trading mob. 24 hours later, they were proven correct when first Robinhood, an overflow cash cow for Melvin Capital owner Citadel, then Interactive Brokers. So Robinhood was supposedly created to help you day trade. They were working behind the scenes with these big guys. That's who they are. This was a front.
So the mask has come off.
Yeah. Then Interactive Brokers, then Schwab, and countless other brokerages announced, as if on pre-agreed terms, to halt trading in GameStop, AMC, Express, some other, about 13 others. We're committed to helping our customers navigate this uncertainty, Robinhood said. Dave Portnier says, the irony of Robinhood being named Robinhood, when very clearly their entire agenda is to steal from the poor and give more to the rich, is not lost on anyone. This crackdown on retail trading sparked a firestorm, with retail investors rightfully demanding to know why these stocks and associated options were put on some sort of ad hoc restricted list with no warning and threatening. And the reason it was is they were shorted. Listen, all of a sudden everybody wants to buy Express stock. That would be a market boom, and everyone would cheer and open up. Every time the stock market goes up, no one ever says the stock market is too high. It's up too high. Stop buying. No one ever says that. They only say that if they have shorted the stocks, hoping for those specific stocks to go down. This is, if you can catch that, you can catch why the mask being lifted on these evil minions is so important. Huge. Because it's insane that you would stop people buying a stock, because everybody wants the stock market to go up. That's what everybody says.
We play a game. All right? This is what they're saying. We play a game. You can't come into our game.
Right.
And if you come into our game, we will shut it down.
Bingo. Bingo. Bingo.
And we give the illusion that you are allowed to play our game.
Our game is that,
but you aren't actually allowed to play our game.
On these stocks, they must go lower. They don't get to go higher.
Right.
They must go lower. That is their game.
Right.
And if you want them to go higher, then they lose money because they borrowed like 20 of their friends' cars.
And then sold them.
And now they got to get the cars back because their friends want their cars back. Okay? But if they hadn't borrowed their friends' cars like a stupid idiot in the first place to try to make a buck, it should be illegal. It should be so illegal.
I'm going to say something right now that to me is an epiphany, and I think could be one of the
I didn't know how this all worked, by the way.
Important things that I ever say to you guys on this show. And so listen to me very, very, very carefully. Before 1913, with the Federal Reserve, and what I have here is I brought some props. Some of these belong to us. Some of them belong to other people that I bought them for. This is silver. It's really heavy. Okay. There's 20 in each of these. I've got, some of these are Christmas gifts for some people. These are 5. I brought them down as props. Okay.
And each one is worth how much?
Each one, right now today, let's see, I have an app on my phone. We'll go right now. I get the exact value before spot, or the spot price is. Come on, bring it up. It's not wanting to bring it up. Wow. Whoa, that's kind of scary. I've never had my JM Bullion app never come up before. All right, here we go. 26.38. All right. When I bought this, whenever it was a few weeks ago, and then they finally arrived so I can give them out to who they go to. I think I paid 25 something. Okay. $1 less. My point is that when we had the value of real money This is so heavy. When we had the value of real money before 1913, before they
There's no
started,
volatile.
the banks started using this made up system that allows cars, electronics, homes. It allows these wars is the biggest one, right? It allows all of this fake money to prop up what the big people want.
Can I wait? Let me understand something.
This is the most important thing I'm going to say on this
Okay,
show, and
okay.
I'm afraid I'm going to lose it
Okay.
if I don't get it out.
Okay.
Okay? They did this. And because of that, we went from next to zero inflation from the founding of our country till 1913. And then your dollar, your $1, this is $1. You used to be, you get $1 a week, you'd be paid. Okay? 4 of these would last you a month. This is a month's wages right here. Okay? The value of this diminishes as they raise the fiat dollar price. So we have inflation. It's called theft. They call inflation the silent tax because they are taking. So the dollars, let's say you've got $100 under your mattress right now. 10 years ago, it had more value than it does now. Tomorrow, it will have less value than it does today. Why? Because of these greedy people and what they decided to do in 1913. So listen to me very carefully. The stock market exists to cover up their theft of inflation. How many times, raise your hand, if you've thought to yourself, you know that your money is going to be worth less tomorrow than it was today, and you want to ensure the value. I don't have a dollar bill down here. You want to ensure the value of your dollar. So you think to yourself, I need to invest it in something, not because I want to make a big profit, but because I'm afraid if I don't invest it in something, then 10 years from now, my $10,000 will buy me less than half of what it could have bought me today. So I have to invest. I have to keep my money in the stock market. It's a game that they have forced you to play because they invented inflation. Pull out of their game.
Yeah.
And I believe right here, right now in 2021, as a whole part of November 3rd and everything that God is doing and the big revival, the Bible says, let a thief repay seven times. They owe our country. Mm-hmm. They owe you. They owe me because they owe our ancestors. Because they decided to force us to play a game. And the stock market is a cover up, because without the stock market, they can't cover up the inflation.
Right.
Because if you don't have a way to maintain the value of your dollar, which right now, except for if you're not buying this, you've got no way to do it other than putting your money in a 401k or stocks or something like that. You have no defense. So they force you to play the game. We're getting out now. We are getting out now. Now, what do you want to say?
So, what got me so excited about this that's happening is, number one, the second part of this is that the gamers and the GameStop people are going after silver. And I think tomorrow you're going to see what I saw. People don't know how to buy silver. It's not as easy. And I saw hundreds of people asking, where do I buy silver? How do I get into silver?
Which is why we're here.
That's why you're not going to see that huge bump.
Because they don't even know how to do it.
Because they don't even know how to do it. So there are several ways you can buy silver. You can buy silver from a silver firm, so a precious metals firm, and you can have them hold it for you.
Bad idea.
Can you let me finish?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me finish.
Okay.
You can have them. I want people to have options.
Okay.
They don't need to do what I'm telling them to do. They need to do what God's calling them to do. I want them to know. Here's the thing. I would rather you, and I think it would be better if you had a firm hold on to it than if you were buying and selling GameStop.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
So sometimes people need baby steps.
Okay.
your silver or gold is kept at the firm, you do not have it in your hand.
And you may never get it.
And you may never get it. And if something collapses, you may never see it. But you can, if you're a person, you can buy and sell it right there with the click of a button.
Right.
With this, you can take it if you need to cash it in to a local gold and silver dealer, and you'll get the same price, okay, as you would. Probably, when you're buying it, you have to pay a premium, so they make some money. And the difference with stocks is with the Robinhood, supposedly, you didn't pay any premiums to buy and sell. But there was a premium, okay? My big epiphany was to help you see what's happening here with the short sell and the short squeeze. And I think for me, it's one of the best examples is I'm going to borrow my friend's car. My friend needs their car. I think if you can put it in
and we are going to tell you where to buy your silver.
If you can put it in things that, like, your friend still needs their car, they need it back.
Right.
So you're borrowing it. What happened with the creation of the Federal Reserve is that they were shorting all of Americans. And they do have to pay that back. And that's why Ron Paul and Lynette Zhang and all these people are saying the economy will have to collapse. Because just because you say that you're not going to pay it back doesn't mean that you're not going to have to pay it back. Okay? So they permanently borrowed with the intent of never paying it back. Okay, so imagine if they had done that. What we need to do, and what we can do by buying silver and by buying gold, is force them to pay it back, which is why the silver people are getting really excited. And why you should get excited. They want to push silver up to 1,000. Now, that would be inflation adjusted. That's where it should be. $1,000 an ounce. That would be inflation adjusted. Right. And people would say, well, that's crazy. No, that's inflation adjusted. What's crazy is inflation, right? So somebody comes to your house and demands every single day 2 cents on every dollar. Or you can put your money in the stock market. And you're like, oh my gosh, I have, $100. I don't want to do this. I have $200. I have $1,000. And that is why people get forced and funneled into the stock market.
Right.
Because there's somebody that comes and knocks on their door and takes 2 cents, 3 cents on every dollar every single day.
Yeah.
And that's what we have to pay.
Right.
It's called inflation. And inflation does not need to be the name of the game. You have had it brainwashed into you since you were a kid by the very people who took over the education system, the Fords, the Carnegies, and the Rockefellers, to tell you these were the rules to the game. But for 200 years, if you have, and just tiny little blips, okay? And I should have that chart, so I could always bring it up for you, and it's always the hardest to find.
It might be, I have pulled up here our video on the case of counterfeit currency. I thought we might play the first part of it, just the skit.
Okay.
And then they can go watch the rest of it.
Okay, well, I don't want to make this video too long. That's all I was thinking. So, for 200 years, and I'm going to hammer this into your head. If you had $1, you had $1 the next year, you had $1 the next year, you had $1 the next year, you have $1 next year, you had $1 next year, and it was always the same. That is almost incomprehensible. I need you to the best way to describe it is this. If you had $1 one year, you had $5 the next year. You had $10 the next year. You had $20 the next year. Because there was no inflation, that's the best way to describe it for you. Your dollar didn't need to make money. You think that your dollars need to make money right now.
Exactly.
But you're literally just trying to stop the bleeding.
That was my big epiphany that the stock market is.
The stock market is just a place. Oh, I made all this money. No, you didn't. You switched it over so that your level of living if you had saved $100 a week, and inflation didn't stop, you could just retire by what you saved in the bank.
Exactly.
You didn't need to put it in the stock market. You didn't need to fund the big banks.
Right.
You didn't need to be part of the game.
So all of this aside, the reason why
You could literally, I just want to hear this. For 200 years, you could literally just save money and retire on your money.
Exactly.
And you could live well
Right.
on your retired money. But now you think that the stock market helped you to get you think the stock market helped you by saving. And I retired on this. Now, some people hit it big. Some of the people hit big. Some people, and it's like the lottery.
It is.
Right?
It's gambling, though.
It's like the lottery. Okay, but with inflation being set at like 2%, if you start saving at like 20 years old and you saved and you saved and you saved and you saved and you saved, the only thing that it would be the same. It would literally be the same if we didn't have inflation. You wouldn't need.
But they need to have it
But
to keep
but
their game going.
if you were investing money, real money, into a real company that really got going and started to make real wealth,
Right.
then you would get something back. But now you're just trying to stop the losses because a lot of these companies aren't actually hitting big. Most of the long-term investments on the stock market are just to stymie the bleeding of inflation.
Yeah. It's upsetting. So let me play this. Let's play part of this skit here that I have tried to get you guys to watch several times. I think it's hilarious. I invented the skit. I wrote the skit. That's why I like it so much. But it's something that you guys can use to share with people. I think it's on both our Mass Faith 3 and Resistance Chicks channel, but I'm going to play the one from...
You could make it our top video because we can't do the resist. We can't do.
I think I can make it I think I might have actually made it the top video. I don't think there's supposed to be volume here, so hold on. Is there? No. Should there be volume? There should be.
I just saw you put that can in the trash can, but we recycle.
I know. I just recycled it.
Did you switch the trash cans out? Is
No.
that a recycle can now?
But I have recycled it in here.
What do you mean?
I have a new app!
What do you-
Exciting!
Mom.
Do you want to hear about it? Okay, so I've been doing this for a while, but I wanted to make sure that it works first. So what I've been doing is you scan the can, okay, into the app, like the scanners that you always do on your phone, you're checking prices and stuff. So you scan the can in the app, and then it registers it as recycled, and then you don't actually have to recycle it because now you have a credit representing the can that was recycled.
So I totally get that you would scan a can and put it in an app for points. I mean, that sounds really cool. But if you throw it away, then
But it's
it
not,
can be recycled.
it's not a point. Okay, it's because there's nobody that's just gonna be like, oh look, I want to donate for people recycling. You know, it's an actual, like, I literally have converted that can digitally. So now it doesn't have to be itself. It's just digitally converted into the app. So it no longer has to be recycled.
It's right here,
because
girlfriend.
it's been, but I know, but now it's represented in my phone.
I'm
Online,
all
digitally.
about
It's digital recycling.
incentivizing recycling. Like, that is really cool. Like, I like that. But you actually have to manually take it somebody's got, is somebody gonna come pick this up?
But you don't have to, we're not, that's the thing. It's going, we don't need to do that anymore. Like, we're going away from having to actually use real stuff because it's digital. So we don't need,
There was Coke in here. It's real stuff. This is a real can, honey.
well, not in my phone. It's in the, so there's this really cool database. So it's a big giant database. Other people have been doing this like all over America. It's kind of big. Like, I can't believe you haven't heard of it already, but I found it first. So in the database, all of these credits from the cans are represented in the app. Now they don't have to be recycled, and you can just simply throw it away. So I recycled it digitally, and now it's been converted from the value that it had as a can, right, into now a value that I can spend.
Fake.
But it's not fake. I've been buying stuff on Amazon with this stuff.
Somebody in China has set up something crazy. What is going on? I do not understand. Is this the Russians?
But it's an app, and so I don't.
Is it a Russian app? Was this done in Russia to make Americans look stupid? Because this is not recycling. This can be used. This is something. This is tangible. I can just feel it. I have to stop putting this in the trash.
But I don't need to. I'm telling you, it's now been converted.
No, it hasn't been converted into anything. What are you saying?
It's in the app. Look at this. Look. So here are all of these credits from all the cans that I have been recycling. Okay.
You can go up.
But well, I know. I'm working on that. Okay. So, but seriously, so now I have all these credits built up, and you can spend them. So that's been converted. So it's no longer necessary to recycle it.
Cheating.
But it's not cheap. It's like
Sounds like lying.
It's completely represented. It's a thing. And listen, I can understand if it was just not spendable, but you can use these credits. They're like spending money. They are credits that you can use to spend. So I've literally turned this into money.
Fun.
I turned it into I've just converted it to money.
I get it. This has value. These are cans. You can convert this into money. I take it down to the recycle place and they give me some money. This is fantastic. But you can't just put it in an app and say that you have recycled because this will go to a landfill. This has value. You can turn this back into aluminum, more cans. But the point of recycling, is to recycle and to use it again.
I know, but
Use it again.
But the value that's in the can is just now converted into value.
They melt these things down and they remake things out of this. If you put this in the trash, regardless of what your app says, this will not be able to be reused again.
But it's represented in my app.
You can somebody mind this.
I don't know how it works. The people that made the app, they give me money for it.
That sounds stupid. We're gonna have to talk about this. And you know what this sounds like? This sounds like the Federal Reserve's fiat money system. That's what this sounds like.
It sounds eerily like that.
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
All right, so we go into explaining just exactly the point of all of that in the rest of that skit that you guys can watch on Mass Bay 3. But the point is, they have tried to make us believe that these dollar bills and now digital dollar bills that we have value when they do not. It's all fake. It's all an illusion. Mm-hmm. And meanwhile, what I should have added to this, and maybe we said it in the show, I don't know. They've got the heap of cans. They have the gold and silver. They are getting the money. They are taking the cream off of the crop every single time money gets inflated, which that happens by you deposit $10 into your bank and your bank now has permission to lend out $100 based on your $10. They're allowed to create it from the ether, from thin air. That's called inflation. Okay, that's like having a giant swimming pool, and inside you have a pitcher of lemonade, real lemonade, and then you start adding water and more water, and it spills over and you just add water. You got a whole swimming pool, and you're like, no, I had lemonade. Maybe there was lemonade at one point.
Right.
But now all you have is a swimming pool of water that somebody dumped a pitcher of lemonade in.
Okay, so let me go back to the Robinhood thing because they're cheating too. Dave Poitier says, I love how Robinhood app is like, we'll go back to normal tomorrow. What changed? Oh, right. They crashed the market. They let the hedge funds get out. Now suddenly there are no issues with it. Now the hedge funds are out. Now they're like, go ahead, buy up. Once the hedge funds got out, once they got their leverage out, they're like, okay, you can buy your GameStop.
Yeah.
And you can be messed over. This guy literally lied through his teeth and made no sense. This crook just said he had to do better communicating, cheating all of his customers about out of millions, if not billions, fraud. Let's see. I want to play. He might swear here. But
oh my gosh! If you're gonna play Barstool,
it's just a minute clip.
he's going to curse probably 10 times in a minute clip.
I think he will.
Probably the F-bomb. So if you have children in the room, get them out. He's angry.
I'll probably lose $2 million in this thing when it's all said and done. I'm not selling. I'm gonna eat the $2 million. I'll fucking eat it. I'll eat it like fucking cake. I'm not selling because selling's what those fucking assholes want me to do, and I'm not gonna do what they want me to do. I'd rather go bankrupt so I can bitch and moan about this shit forever. You think I can? They don't call. It's a known fact. I'm one of the great grudge holders of all time. I'm going to print a list of everybody who I feel is involved in the events today, and I'll make it my mission. You champagne bottles on the office, and I will wait. And I will wait, and I will prod, and I will pull, but we need to make sure they pay for the day. We really do. We really do. And if that's my job, on top
He's
of
representing the little guy that we keep referring to.
Yeah.
So you guys can understand what side he's on. He's not, even though he's got millions, he is he's talking for the little guy that invested in trying to bring down the corruption.
Exactly.
I invested in because I believe in the internet. I believe in Wall Street bets. I believe in fucking Reddit, and I believe that they would go up because I believe in the power of that. And you can't cry foul if you're too dumb to realize the power of the internet. I've been saying that since March. All these people, fundamentals, this, that, adapt or die. Well, no, I guess it wasn't adapt or die, these old fucking bags. It's we're just going to change the rules on you. You think you're playing fucking football. We're playing basketball. They just changed the fucking rules. There's no way to foresee that.
They changed the rules in the middle of the night.
That's why I think these people have to go to jail. Like, if you can just pick up and change the rules at a whim, whenever you feel like it, like, why can't a bank, if I make a deposit, just say, that's our money now?
Right. They're there.
Buddy, we just changed the rules. You thought you were...
I'm gonna let him finish.
You were parking your money with us? No. You gave it to us.
Yeah. No, that's so good. That is so perfect, because if you guys don't... where we're at right now, and I want you guys to be at peace, because we believe, we've been waiting, and we've been for 4 years, we have been telling you guys that this was coming, this is coming. We don't know how it's going to come, but it's going to come. Okay. 2020 was a big part of that. Now we're seeing it materialize. We're like, a lot of the prophets have been speaking, something big is going to happen. I truly believe this is part of it, right?
Oh, this is definitely.
So what he's saying, now we don't necessarily agree in the system. He's like, I believe in Reddit. I believe in the internet.
I don't believe in the system, but it's the system they created for people.
And if it takes them down,
those people who bought and they played by the game rules.
Wait a minute, though. This is it. This is what we've been saying. What have we been saying? The very gallows that they build, they will hang on.
Yeah.
The very pit that they have dug, they will fall in. They built this system.
Yeah.
And now they're hanging on it.
Yeah.
They're hanging themselves with their own system that they had built to kill you.
Right. To wipe you out. Now, here's the thing. They got their hedge dudes out, and now they're going to allow you to play. But here's the thing.
The veil's been lifted.
People have woken up. I'm going to play this other video here.
Hello.
Ron Coleman.
I'm not telling you that I said it was going to be Wall Street, the financial sector, hedge funds. I am telling you that I did say the wheels were going to come off, that they had jumped the shark. Too many things have to remain under too much control. And yes, they got the election, they got the judiciary, they got the press, they got the social media. They didn't get the money. There's a lot they can do. They might even squeeze this one down, but the lid is not staying on. They jumped the shark. it might cost all of us a lot of money. If the whole market crashes
That's
down,
fine. That's fine with me.
You know what the word con, like a con man, comes from? Confidence. It's a confidence game.
Wow.
We're all victims of the confidence game.
Yeah,
because
it's so
our
good.
ability to hedge is nothing like the ability of really wealthy people to hedge. But it's coming down. The confidence will never be the same.
Yeah.
Changes are gonna happen. And if it's not this, it's happening today, it's gonna be something else that's happening tomorrow. And I said something else starting a couple days ago. What's happening in the market is a perfect parallel to what's happening with free expression.
Yep.
The big boys are being threatened by independent conduct, voices, power. They run to the government and other powers that be to shut them down. It'll work in the short term, but the con is over.
Yes. Oh my gosh, it's so good. The con is over.
We can do this. In fact, whether or not you realize it, we are doing it.
Yes.
And I say we. I don't mean me. I mean we, the
Yeah.
people. We can
So powerful.
When we said, guys, look, wait, watch,
Hold the phone.
hold the line.
There's a lot more that needs to crumble.
With November 3rd, we said hold the line.
Hold that
this,
line.
people are saying hold the line. There's so much here. The anointing is here. The power of God is here. Now let me flip over to go to a couple things. Now this is Janet Yellen's millions in speaking fees for Wall Street. She's the Treasury Secretary now. Here's the thing. They picked her, and they shouldn't have.
Right.
Because it shows their con. It shows Biden is connected to this woman, and you can't see it, but speaking fee, 112,000, 90,000, 157,000, 225,000, 225,000. And this
No
isn't
one
just,
on the face of the planet
right
that has ever lived next to Solomon that had wisdom is worth that kind of money to listen to them speak.
National Investment Center, Bank of America, Citadel, Google, Citadel.
It's money laundering. It is money laundering. They are using this to buy people off. She has the position that she has because people have leverage with her.
Exactly.
It's leverage. These are leverages, leverage payments.
Right. So here, Citadel, on one day, they paid her $180,000
Leverage payment.
And then they paid her another one, which was $337,000.
I'm moving her to the center of the screen. Look at her.
$337,000.
No.
And then another.
That's leverage. It's money laundering. No one gets paid that for speaking. It's like when you sell your car for $1 to avoid the taxes. Everybody knows you didn't sell it for $1.
Right. She, I guess Citibank, she does a lot to City, it looks like Citibank, 217 for one time,
gosh.
217 for another time, 87 for another time. City National Bank, 100, very interesting.
Look at that woman.
She spoke
didn't
for
even
4
look.
days. No,
She literally doesn't even look trustworthy.
And-
like she's got a weird look about her.
over 4 days for City National Bank in January 29th, 30th, 30th, and 31st. Each day they paid her $112,500
For speaking?
each day for
That's
4 days in a
called
row.
money laundering.
$500,000 for 4 days to speak.
Money laundering.
Power.
No one gets paid to speak
No.
like that. They just literally are like, we've got to get this money funneled to you.
Right.
And so just come and speak about whatever. Call the sky blue. Call it green. I don't care. This is how we're going to funnel this money to you. Oh,
Yeah.
my gosh. This is so good. This is such good news. Please be encouraged.
Mm-hmm.
The veil is coming off now. I've got a lot of questions, a lot of comments. Where to buy your silver? We are going to get to that before the end of the show. I promise you.
All right. So official statement on gold and silver here. Buy silver tonight. Stop the paper silver manipulation. They want a short squeeze. This is the short squeeze this century, 25 to 1,000. People are saying Today, for the first time in a decade, we touched a sensitive point: the multi-decade silver paper manipulation, which is 250 times the physical market. The ghost is out of the bottle and it won't go back again. Accounts are not able to trade. Someone weren't able to trade silver today. The system is rigged. Step up, unite. But the physical gold and silver, they will get you your silver. They're not going to stop it.
So I'm going to show you what
because here's the thing:
use.
they make money off of you and they're normal. This is normal trade. Right? They make money, normal trade. So don't forget, even with manipulation, they had a $50 target. They said without that, becomes a triple-digit target. 1,000 is the inflation-adjusted silver target. This is the short squeeze of the era. This is about freedom. This is about having the same rights as hedge funds and banks. Keep pushing. Small or wealthy, you are buying value. Buy physical where it's available without premium. Well, or with a premium. Buy silver. They're saying buy silver and through or silver miners. And in the Middle East and Asia and Australia, you can buy XAGUSD, buy silver FD, CFDs. Now, these are some other people are saying. And let's see. Right here, Michelle, you've brought him up. SD Bullion.
I'll bring it up right now. I will bring it up right now. I don't have them up right now, but I will. I'm going to show you guys. This is where we get our precious metals from. Now, I want to be very clear about something.
We aren't wealthy.
We are not wealthy. Okay. This is a 25. Well, tonight it's going to be 26. If you go on SD Bullion right now and you buy. All right. If you go right here, sdbullion.com. All right. If you go there and you buy this, okay. Roughly over the years, we've bought these. Like if you've got I have a bank account where if I deposit $25 from my checking account into my savings account every month, it makes it free. Okay. That's the equivalent of leading up to now, what you should have been doing.
Yeah.
$25 a month. Okay. Now with SD Bullion, you get free shipping if it's over $99. Okay. They are a Christian company. That's John 3:16 on the inside of this box that this shipment came in. Now, I have bought, like I said, I have bought this for some for ourselves and some for other people because it's easier for me to make a purchase because other people get nervous. You should not be nervous, at least buying from this company. You can buy from ITM Trading with Lynette Zhang, which we introduced you to earlier in the show. Donna Terry says in the chat, do you get a certificate or do you get actual silver? We got a shipment that I have to distribute out to friends. This is, I put them in these, sometimes they come in these clear cases. Sometimes they just come in these stacks here. All right. Now you can buy whatever product you want.
Now what Lynette recommends is buying
things that have intrinsic value and then they have collectible value.
So silver bars, she doesn't actually recommend per se the silver and gold bars. And here's why. Because when the government came in the 30s and 40s, and they demanded you to turn in your gold. They demanded you turn in your gold products, your gold bars. But if you
had something that had collector value,
like collector value,
then you didn't have to turn it in.
So these all with the collector value,
Lynette says it this way: she likes to buy collector value coins. Mm-hmm. If you can't buy collector value coins, I think these are 2020 silver dollars. All right. Now, and if you can't buy silver dollars,
90% silver pre-1965 is called
this
junk
is called
silver.
Junk silver. We have junk silver as well. Okay, that's going to become if we have to barter. Or not barter, but buy and sell.
Junk silver is a very popular way to invest in silver.
Lots of people invest in junk silver.
Both by prepper types and investors. Investors like these coins because they contain 90% silver and are worth much more than their face value of 10 cents or 25 cents. People like buying these coins to prepare for acquiring goods and services during hyperinflationary scenarios. So you have a regular dime, it's not worth anything. Mm-hmm. But if you have a silver dime,
right,
it's going to be worth something.
Right.
So,
so we like to buy 99.99. I think it says it on here. Fine silver, unless we're buying the junk silver. Okay. It comes in a sack. You got to put it in your own paper rolls, okay? So you can buy bars. Buy whatever you like and whatever you feel comfortable buying. Now, keep in mind, I want you guys to understand something. If we're going to do this show and you need to know all the ins and outs of buying and selling silver and gold, whatever, there's the spot price. You do not get to go on this site and then buy it for the price that it is valued at today, because these people have to make money. Now, they will put sales on stuff so that the amount of money that they make over that spot price varies. So if they would normally make $4 over something, then they're going to make $2 over something. We'll get to that one second. Let me finish my thought. So you're going to be paying what's called a premium. Different products have a higher premium than other products. The collector coins have a far higher premium than the standard coins. In addition to that, you are going to pay taxes. Now, if your state makes it so that gold and silver are legal tender, you wouldn't have to pay taxes, because you're not then buying a product. It's just money.
And also, there's
keep
a
that
difference
in mind when you're
if
thinking
you
about
pay
investing.
by wire or check or versus credit card for some of these things.
Yes.
And gold, obviously, gold is, we say silver, and I think silver is going to go up. Silver is the short squeeze of the century, but gold is holding strong. And if you had bought gold in the late 90s, early 2000s at $100 or $200 an ounce, it's at 1,800 today.
Right.
That is astronomical.
So Ings has bought, I'm going to address this. This is kind of a thread of comments on Facebook. It says, okay, so I don't know how to pronounce your last name. INGE. Inge. So I invested in XRP. That's no good then, question mark, LOL. XRP is crypto. Should I turn it back into money? I just want to turn the tables in our advantage. Buy silver tonight with who? What app do you trust now? I don't know. SD Bouillon may have an app. I just use the website. Okay? This has intrinsic value. I want to be very clear though, before you all go rushing to purchase your precious metals. Okay? Because of the premiums, I call them fees, and because of the taxes, if you need to get out soon, if you bought this today with the premium and the fees and the taxes, okay, this would be roughly over $30, and it's the spot is 26 something, okay? If you need to get out tomorrow, you're not getting a premium and you're not getting your taxes back. This is not something that you do with money that you need to access real soon. Okay? Do not take tomorrow's bread money and try to turn it into silver because you want to make big money. This is not a bet that we're doing tonight. If you have money in your savings that you do not need to touch for a long time, tonight's your night. If you are living paycheck to paycheck, tonight is not your night. God will take care of you. Okay? We're not gambling here. This is for people who have savings.
Right.
If you have over $100 worth of savings, that's what I would go with. It's a free shipping. It's worth it. Buy yourself 3 of these tonight. Okay, that's my advice to you. It's not medical advice, but I want to be very clear. Do not put this on your credit card that you can't pay back. Do not take a mortgage out on your house. Don't do any of that crazy stuff. Do not do that. That is not what this show is about.
Bitcoin is volatile, and I've never been a fan of Bitcoin because they pull the plug and you lose everything.
Right.
But I know a lot of people are plug Bitcoin. So we're not here to give advice. We're here to just throw things out that we think
that we do.
Exactly. And we are not wealthy people. I know a lot of people keep saying, yeah, but I don't have any savings. I don't have any. No, you do. You can do $100 a month. Okay. You can do it. All right.
Unless you can't, then don't.
Unless you can't. But most people can. They just don't think that they can.
Right.
And if you put $25 a week aside, and at the end of the month, you put a friend of ours who was just like, you know what? I'll do 300. I'll do 300, and I'll save that up. I think when we got in, it was at 13, and now it's at 26. So we're above our premium on some of that.
No,
silver.
when we got in, it was 17.
17? Oh, I thought it was 13.
We
17.
bought as low as 15.
Oh,
When we
okay.
got in, it was 17.
Okay.
So I want you guys to feel good that the tables are turning. This is not about you making money quick.
It's about you.
Do not get gold
as-
silver fever tonight.
What does Lynette say? Wealth preservation.
It's when you have your cash money and you want to preserve its value that you are going to be holding on to. Don't grip onto that cash money, because if you're planning on holding on to that money for 3 or 4 years, it will lose its value. Mm-hmm. You need to convert it into, you don't have to buy the silver rounds. They're not really, these are actually silver dollars. Rounds are the ones that aren't actually US mint. Okay. You don't have to do that. Go look at the website, look at the premiums, look at how much something costs, look at what you think you want to buy. Friends of ours had these really great, gold things. I loved them. They look like little SD cards. Okay. And you could snap them off and it made your gold. I loved that. That's great. I think it's the sky is the limit for you looking into this, but I'm going to say that if you have the wealth to do it, tonight is your night to do it. I would not personally think to yourself, I'm going to wait until tomorrow to make that decision, because I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. Nothing may happen tomorrow. Don't take it like Michelle said something was going to blow up tomorrow, but it's not going to drop to the bottom tomorrow. Now, as Lynette always says, even with the fees, with the premiums and the taxes and all of that, with adjusted for inflation, when they are keeping silver like this because they're making money off of it. They can use it in your cell phones. It's an industrial metal. Okay. They're keeping it like this on purpose. It should be adjusted for inflation, $1,000, and gold should be about $10,000 roughly, give or take. Okay. Is it ever going to get there? I don't know. This is not a bet. This is not betting, but you need to know what they've robbed you of. Mm-hmm. When they took us off the gold standard, when they confiscated our gold, they robbed us of what would have been our value. They robbed your ancestors of it. They have robbed you of it. So tonight is the night. I would not waste. So for those of you, that are asking, and Jean says, if the internet goes down, kiss Bitcoin goodbye. Okay. If the internet goes down, I can still buy and sell with my neighbor and with my community with this. With Bitcoin, you cannot. I would not. And Lynette Zhang says this all of the time. Leah, do you have any final thoughts?
No, but would we say whatever Mom wanted to say? She kept banging on the door.
All right.
One more thing. A friend of ours was like, okay, I have a couple $1,000s that I need to use for something in a few months. Should I buy silver? No, you've already allocated that money. But this friend of ours has land. Okay? And even better than land, even better than silver, I encourage people to sell. That's why what's called prepping, mm-hmm. right? Wealth preservation is it when you have land, or you have animals, you have fruits, you have vegetables, you put a seed in the ground and you get a return.
Right.
You have animals, and if they breed, you get a return. I get chickens, I get a return. And so one of the things that Lynette Zhang from ITM Trading is the diversifying. Okay, fruit trees. You invest $20, $30, $40 in a good fruit tree, and hopefully you could get fruit for several years. I mean, I got
right.
cans and cans of pears. The return on my investment on my $10 pear tree is astronomical.
Yeah.
It is you can't even quantify it.
Right.
Okay. The return on my investment on my chickens, with all the eggs that I get and the manure and things like that. The return on investment on my pigs. Okay. I have way more meat than I have money into feed or to the pigs. And if I could butcher and put them in the freezer quicker, I'd be better off. Right? I would it's an astronomical investment. Animals, farms, if done right, is an astronomical investment.
Yeah.
If you have, like with the piglets, you have one pig, you can have 13 pigs. Mm-hmm. And if you the idea of having pigs, and the idea of what we want, and we got to redo because we have a boar. You have one boar, 2 sows. Between them, they have 20 piglets. You sell out 18. You keep 2. You make the money on selling the piglets. You get the money on save money because you're raising out your own meat, and you put it in a freezer, and you're ahead of the game.
Right.
You're ahead of the game.
So the point is, if you have extra money, it does not have to go in precious metals.
Right.
I would far rather you, if you had a good amount of money, like house buying amount of money,
Land.
buy yourself land, because where this is going, that's what you're going to need. But more than that, it's what God wants.
Yeah.
It's what God wants. But back to tonight with what we're talking about here, with what Lynette Zhang has to do, and because we talk about it on our show, what we have to do is keeping your precious metals off-site, because we're well known. All right. Now, you may not have to do that. We can have friends that we can keep our stuff at, and you don't even know who they are. Right. That's just important for us. But you may not be able to do that. If you've got a friend that has a safe, fantastic. Ask them if you can keep your precious metals there.
If you are not well known and people do not know that you buy silver, you don't have to keep yours offsite.
You can keep it somewhere in your house, on your property, bury it under where Fido, I don't know. Okay. Whatever you got to do, that's what you can do. But keep in mind that you do not want to tell people. All right. We're just different, because I said this to a friend today. The ship is going down, and I cannot come to you and say, well, I don't do this, but you should. I'm going to come to you and I'm going to tell you what I'm doing to stay afloat, and not to only stay afloat, but the way Lynette says is to survive and thrive this financial meltdown. So I have to tell you what I'm doing. Now, you guys just don't go telling people what you got, where you've got it. Okay. But if you do have friends off site that can keep your gold and silver for you, then tell everybody that you know that you do this, and that they should too. Okay. But you don't want people coming to your door, storming it down. We aren't wealthy people anyway. Even if we could keep it on site, it's not a lot. I'm just telling you, little bit by little bit is the way to go. It's just like we don't tell you guys how many weapons we have. You need to know. That's it. And you don't need to tell people how many weapons you have.
Some people do.
Some people do need to tell people how many weapons. All you need to know is I got them.
Right.
Okay. So I think that rounds it off. Let's see. I'm butchering your name here. It says, yes, I agree. My daughter has a farm. That's fantastic. Yes. But the ultimate takeaway is, if you can't enter into this, you can't buy a farm, you can't get silver and gold, you trust in God Almighty.
Yeah.
He is going to take care of you. Do not sit here tonight and go, well, I don't have the ability to do that. I wish I did. God is going to take care of his own. But it is up to those of us that do know.
Silver and gold
to take
have
down
I
the
none,
system.
such as I have, give I unto thee. That's
Amen.
what Paul said.
Amen. Amen.
There's a scripture in the Bible that says, come, buy without money, sell without price.
Yes.
I know it's hard when we talk about wealth preservation. There's a time when we just lived in apartments, and, me knowing where the stock market's going to go, and me knowing where silver's at, and I know Lynette, I know how much she probably makes and how much she's putting away, and you can't allow any greed or jealousy to step in.
Right.
So the one thing that I always tell people is, this is a spiritual thing. God wants us to trade with gold and silver.
Yeah.
It's not about a wealth preservation thing.
And it's not a get rich quick scheme.
The Constitution says the Congress has the right to coin money, gold and silver money. It even sets the value of what it should be at. Okay? But it's not there because of the Federal Reserve Act.
Right.
And the reason it was so important, we had the Coinage Act, which if you debased money, you would be hung. It was worse than treason. They would put you to death if you took coins and you debased them.
Right.
And that's exactly what the Federal Reserve does.
Right.
So if your heart says, and Jesus says, or God says this all throughout the Bible, I hate unjust weights and balances, because what they would do is they would have their coins, and then they would have weights and balances, and that's how they would measure how much money you had. Mm-hmm. And people would shave off some of their money. They would put extra weights, and and every household would have a weight and balance, so they could make transactions, right? And to make sure that you didn't shave off your silver coin, right? You could just shave it off a little bit here and just melt it down and get yourself a new coin.
Right.
And when you look back at some of the historical coins, you see that they're all different weights because people cheated. And God hates that. God hates unjust weights and balances, and he has us use precious metals for a reason.
The system we have now is the ultimate of unjust weights and balances.
The ultimate of unjust weights and balances. So when your heart says, God, I want to pay somebody right, I want to do it right. That's all you have to do.
Yeah.
I know if somebody forces you into a system, your first step is to disengage from the system up here.
Exactly.
And if you're disengaged from the system up here, God can bless you. He can move through you. I'm not telling you I'm not a televangelist here. I'm not saying sow into my ministry and you'll be blessed.
We are not asking y'all for money.
I'm saying disengage from the world system.
Right.
Recognize what they did in 1913 and say, I don't care how wealthy I got on that system. Because they threw crumbs around to everybody. It was wrong. We created mass war to keep this system up. They stole people's gold to keep this system up. They created a whole stock market. And the last article I was gonna talk to you guys about was the fact that U.S. billionaire wealth rose 40%, up 1.1 trillion since last March. Now, what happened since last March? I personally, have gone without 5 months of income. Boy, could we have bought some extra silver this year.
Right.
Right?
We ate our savings.
We ate our savings. Mom's banging the floor
I don't see a comment yet. Here we go. God has answered our prayers by giving us fiat. When you need it, God will be there.
That's true.
That's so
God
true.
has given us paper dollars when we need it. Absolutely.
Right.
So the central bank responses to the COVID pandemic have done little for the lower middle class Americans. Further evidence of how the Fed's flawed policies work in action came from the Institute of Policy, noting that billionaires have seen their wealth rise 40% by doing nothing. Not much has changed for America's billionaires in the midst of the crisis, except that further swelling of their bank balances. The combined fortune of the nation's 660 billionaires as of Monday, January 18th, 2021, was $4.1 trillion, up about 40% from their collective net worth just under $3 trillion on March 18th, 2020, at the start of this pandemic. At $4.1 trillion, the total wealth of America's 660 billionaires is 2/3 higher than the $2.4 trillion in total wealth held by the bottom half of the population, 165 million Americans. And the usual suspects were Elon Musk's wealth grew over 154 billion. Boosted by his Tesla stock. The boost in wealth of the SpaceX founder over the past 10 months is more than twice of any other billionaire, 154 billions. Jeff Bezos' wealth from Amazon grew $113 billion.
So ask yourself, who serves to prosper from a pandemic?
Yeah.
And the measures that they took because of it.
Mark Zuckerberg, his wealth grew from 54 billion to 92 billion. An increase of over 2/3 fueled by his Facebook stock. Remember when Facebook wasn't a stock?
Yeah.
Tried to argue for tax changes, the IPS says that the 1.1 trillion wealth gained by 660 U.S. billionaires since March 2020 could pay for all of the relief for working families contained in President Biden's proposed President Biden, sorry, I didn't mean to say that
Nick
out loud.
says, God always makes a way. He sustained our new business this year, even with the shutdown. Praise God.
Praise
That's
God.
awesome.
Praise God. And so we want to see those billionaires come down.
They're going to come down, guys.
Crashing down. So I'm telling you guys, go watch the Hunger Games. We do not advocate violence. Hunger Games is a fictional story. Okay. We do things through fair, right. Let's flood the market with buying silver. Let's force the squeeze on the silver stocks, right? The paper stocks out there, where we force them.
And when Leah says that, what she means is force these people to fess up to the fact that they don't have what they've been selling.
Yeah.
All right. Patriot Gallery says, we are not responsible for any financial advice. We are not professionals.
No.
It is just the Bible. God says to only use gold and silver coins. She also says the Nasera and Gesera, somebody had asked about that in the chat. That's nothing. Okay, that it falls short of justice. Justice is not done in the system, will fail. But mom says farms for everyone. You get your great granddaddy's labor he put into his retirement, his land, building a home, barns, herds of animals, horses, fields with crops, not money. It is no good without love, a family, wife, children, and grandchildren. Love is the most important thing.
So
love for God.
Lynette has her wealth preservation, and she sees herself.
She calls it a wealth shield.
She sees herself buying whole city blocks when this crash comes, and then she thinks she's going to rent things out.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see people just on their farms again. I don't want. I personally don't want to become a renter or I don't want to have tenants in big giant buildings. I just want to see people back on the farms.
Exactly.
Chopping wood, cooking over fire.
Right.
Like, I don't personally want to be a wealthy person, unless God has me want to give to people. Right. I just want to live a normal, healthy life and just be happy. Right. And these people are sick. They want to take over the world. They want this great reset. They want a fourth industrial revolution. They want to rape the planet. They want to stop free speech. They want to take away our rights to have weapons. They want us to be their slaves. And I think that waking up some of these Bernie people to the fact that you just voted for a guy that wants you to be slaves.
Right.
And the system that enslaves you.
All right, so we got a mail call today that I wanted to get to tonight. From Annie. This is a beautiful watercolor card. Homage to Tiffany. Oh, that's awesome. Tess Star
Chesky.
at gmavt.net. Tess Starchesky, paintings, prints, and cards. Oh, that's awesome. It's really, really beautiful.
See, that's what we want. We just want peace.
That's beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. All right, Annie says, Dear Michelle and Leah, please accept this paltry sum. She sent us a donation via check from the bottom of my heart. It was not paltry, by the way. I wish it were thousands. I love you and your ministry. You give me courage to go on and to love my enemies, great and small. We will win in the end if we only hold on to what is good and righteous. Thank you for being there for me and mine. I share you with my daughter, Susie. God bless and keep you both. Love, Annie.
Tomorrow on our show, let's read Rhonda's.
Annie, Rhonda sent an email that was really good.
Thank you, Annie. That's such an encouraging card. It's a beautiful card. And to know that we're touching people, to know that we're reaching people, just means everything. You can't put a fiat or a silver coin price on it.
No, you can't. You cannot. And tomorrow's show, we will be here at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Friday. There have been some donations on the PayPal that I want to read some names off of and say some thank yous to. So I'll do that tomorrow in addition to reading Rhonda's email that was really
You will
sweet
make
today.
it out alive. You're going to get through. Yes. Peace be still. Thank you, Knowledge Quest. Peace be still. You guys are learning.
You guys are awesome. And don't ring that bell. Remember what Jesus said in Mark 5. Do not be afraid. Only believe. Guys, I think we're seeing something big here. I really and truly do. So tonight, if you have some savings and the Lord leads you, only savings. Y'all know what I said earlier. Don't go getting into any trouble. I don't want you losing the farm and betting the farm to get rich quick. Do not do that. sdbouillon.com. That's going to be your place to go. And you can buy whatever you would like there, whatever you feel led to do. All right. But I would do it tonight if you're going to do it. All right.
All right, guys.
We love you guys. God loves you. God bless. Remember, it's not just a conspiracy theory.
If it's the truth.
If it's the truth. I think this is an important show. Share it with everyone that you can tonight while you still can. All right. We'll see you tomorrow at 6. Bye, guys.
I was cold all alone. No place for home every day. So afraid. But you called me.